The Chindia miracle is truly a miracle. Two countries, India and China, coming together in the Chindia market, the single most important part of the world for the market of the next 20 years. Two countries, India and China, with thousands and thousands of years of problems between them, putting aside their problems to make money. Make sure you're positioned to make money in the Chindia market for the next 20 years, or your bottom line won't be growing at all. My program has information that will help you differentiate the India market and the China market and help you decide what market is best for your specific organization to do business in the next 10 to 20 years. China and India are so completely different that most people don't realize they operate from two completely different development plans. China's focus and their goal is to become the world's manufacturing center. This development model is based on the concept of cheap and constant labor at low rates to be able to produce things for other countries and for export as well as internal market. That's very different than India. India's goal is to become the world's knowledge center, which means they're very sophisticated in math and science and engineering. India's goal is much more sustainable than China's goal. You need to know which goal fits your type of market, your products, and your structure for you to make money. In this program, I will explain the difference in the development plans, how they are functioning, what's coming up next that you've probably not even heard of, and how you can make money from choosing either India or China or both with the right products and services. If you want to import, export, manufacture, outsource, do engineering, or any other unsophisticated or sophisticated task in either China or India, you need to know specifically who to contact, how to find them, and where to do business if you want to make money in these countries. My program will tune you in to what's happening in these countries, where these people are, how to reach them, and why it's important to specifically label your product and service to fit the exact program you need in India or China. Making money is the goal for these countries. It should be for your bottom line as well. The key thing to remember about miracles is that China and India in the Chindia market are both man-made miracles. China started their economic miracle in the early 1970s, and from them has built a development base that has been incredible, with the fastest growth rates of GDP in the history of the world, moving all the way up to 9 to 11% for the last several years. Therefore, they are about 15 years ahead of development of India. India started in the early 1990s with their economic miracle, realizing all of a sudden that China had surpassed them in per capita income and realizing that they had to completely change their development plan if they were going to be a force in the world. Understanding the development plan is the key to understanding the country's goals and objectives and getting cooperation from the governments of these countries, who are very critical to making money anywhere in Asia. When it comes to infrastructure, China is way ahead of India. They have had a 15-year head start, and they have used it remarkably well. The infrastructure in China is growing and is excellent. New roads, new bridges, new ship terminals, new docks, new ports. China is growing and building this infrastructure at an incredible pace. They can also provide very reliable and inexpensive power that is 40% less expensive than most of the power produced in the world. So in infrastructure, China is very far ahead of India, and India will take years to catch up. In GDP, China is also 3 times the GDP in the world of India. China stands at the number 4 economy in the world at $2.2 trillion per year. India is the number 12 economy in the world at $772 billion per year. So China is still ahead of India and is growing very fast. India, however, you must realize, has the second fastest GDP growth in the history of the world after China, with their growth averaging in the 7 to 9% range over the last several years. Both of these are very powerful countries and economies. There are also some areas where India is greater than China. When it comes to process innovation and engineering innovation, India is way ahead of China, because India graduates the most math, science, and engineering students of any place in the world at a very high level. Their tech schools are incredible. So in this area, they are definitively ahead of China. In the area of political stability, we have a great advantage in India because it is a coalition democracy. It's a democracy that has existed for a long time, and therefore all the peoples of India get represented, and the wealth will spread throughout India as it has started to do throughout China. In political stability, India is ahead of China. If you wish to grow your bottom line by working overseas in the Chindia market, the India and China markets combined. You need to know the specific differences in the rules of law and the rules of government and the way business is conducted in India versus China. They are both completely different and live by completely different sets of rules. My job is to help you learn those rules so you can get in the game.